and good evening, everybody. Welcome back in the episode number 12 of Unknown to Known with Ajay Kumar. Thank you, Ajay, for joining this session on the Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock for your time. You're in India at point of time. So once again, thank you so much for giving me chance to interact with you. Before we start, we are going to discuss about you as Ajay. Let's go as per the tradition here. Let's take 10-second pause, 20-second pause. Pray to God, give us the power, give us the strength to share the knowledge, to share the thoughts which we want to be shared with all the community here so that everybody get benefited. Okay, let's take 10-second pause and then we'll start the session formally.
Sure.
Okay, Ajay, welcome back. I hope you're doing good. How are you feeling now? It's your first podcast.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but yeah, I'm a little bit excited to be, help out related to ITOM expertise.
Okay. Anybody in the audience who can motivate Ajay? Ajay, don't worry, we are here. If something goes wrong, we will help you. Don't worry. So you can motivate Ajay because I know that it is his first session. Being a guest coming on the live podcast is definitely is a big thing because there's a no reload, there's a no recut, there's a no replay there. It's all the live at point of time. Okay. So Ajay, who are you? Where are you working? What you are doing at point of time? Let us know.
So myself, Ajay, I'm working in advanced solutions as a lead solution architect, and I'm taking care about the ITOM practice in my advanced solutions, which helping out to customer to implement complete ITOM solutions as the architecture point of view, as the implementation point of view, or as a business process consultant point of view. And apart from that, I love to play cricket or reading books and all this is all about me basically.
Okay, reading books, cricket. We'll come on the books, but I want to know a little bit more about yourself. That how you landed in this journey of service now. That who motivated you? It's sometimes it's a destiny who has a plan for you. Someone says, "Hey Ajay, it is a good scope. Why not you come in the service now?"
My ServiceNow journey started before 7 years ago, right? So before that, I'm working in one of the biggest telecommunication company in India, and I thought I am working as a NOC engineer basically or NOC team
Mhm.
lead, right? So I thought let's move out to ServiceNow. Let's learn about some new thing we can learn about on those particular how the ServiceNow is going to be help out to the customers basically, right? So how that ServiceNow is going to be help out to automate their ITOM or operation management or ITSM. So I started my journey from there. On moving out to ServiceNow communities, I took a very long time to be moved out because I started last year only in the ServiceNow community. But I
Mhm.
feel because I have some time and I feel okay, let's try to contribute to ServiceNow community based on my expertise related to ITOM and ITAM.
Right.
Apart from that, there are a couple of folks. I just want to mention the name as well, like Sandeep Datta, you, and there are a couple of other
Yes.
resources who helped me a lot to be participate in ServiceNow community to help out others and grow as a mentor or as expertise in the item side.
Okay, good, Ajay. So Ajay, I know that this session is mainly for the item discussion, and now if you see on the comment side, you can see everybody who is your known near and dear is saying, Ajay, don't worry, we are here. So if you're stuck, we can invite anybody in the studio and they can answer on your behalf. Okay,
Definitely.
good. So Ajay, we are here to give you backup at every point, but I believe you and in your you were not stuck at any point during the session. Thanks, Super Sandy 001. Thank you so much for the motivation. So Ajay, now the next question is that you are ServiceNow Rising Star 2024, right? How you are
Yep.
feeling when you got this email?
So that is very excited when I, got that email from Sharak, you are nominated or finalist for
Mhm.
ServiceNow 2024, right? So because I'm working from last 1 year, hardly, on the ServiceNow community side to helping out to other peers related to solutions, related to some suggestions or article and blogs. But once you prepare for 1 year and after that
Right.
you feel your efforts is going to be in right direction, and it's going to be highlight with someone from the service now side. That is very big achievement what I feel. And
Right.
as you already know, I'm targeting for the next one of my next achievement for this year.
Definitely, Ajay, definitely. So, what special you did to become in the Rising Star cohort or to come in the Rising Star cohort?
So special I did basic that is sharing my knowledge on the LinkedIn first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I have informations related to ITOM, related to the new things which is coming in the ITOM on every release that I'm sharing on LinkedIn. Apart
Mm-hmm.
from that, I'm on community side. If I said I'm trying to give the correct answers only, not like that, finding out something from the Google and putting to that as a comment. So that is a big thing. I'm moving or closing to the solution side basically once I received any questions from any peers, right? And if I'm not able to sure about that, I'm definitely going to be research on that one before replying to him, to understand that concerns and then scenario, and based on that we are putting I'm putting basically my answers on it. So that is the one thing.
Correct, correct. What you learn from the ServiceNow community?
Definitely, I learned a lot of things because I am expert in ITOM and ITAM. Not too much expert, but I definitely see couple of issues which I don't know or I've not ever faced
Mhm.
in my career as of now. So I try to find out the solutions on those particular things. First point. Second is I learn about little bit more enterprise asset management, or that IRM or ITSM or the platform things, which where I'm not more comfortable related to coding side. So I'm learning about those things from the community, because couple of questions which I feel that real life scenarios which a user is facing in their custom environment, they are putting there, and there are a couple of or lots of solutions available for those particular
Right.
issues, right? So that I'm grasping from there and try to involve in day to day my activities to be becoming more comfortable on that side.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Ajay, let's take a break here and let's play a game now. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
it is
Sounds
it
good.
is called it is called a rapid fire game. And just to let me know everybody that this is completely unscripted session. So don't think that I already have a plan in my mind. Let me come also on the video now. Okay, let me come here and click on this. Okay. So Ajay, what you have to be tell, I am giving you alphabet and you have to be tell one word from the ServiceNow domain. But you are not allowed to take the ServiceNow release name.
Okay.
Okay. Anything which start with Z.
That is Zabbix. So
Z is
Zabbix is a tool which we can integrate with ServiceNow for monitoring systems.
okay. Anything with D.
D again Dynatrace, because I lots of work on that event management side. So again Dynatrace, one of the tool which we can integrate with ServiceNow to automate that event management solutions basically.
Okay. Anything from the ServiceNow domain itself. Because I know
Okay.
Dynatrace is a different tool here. Anything from the ServiceNow domain.
Uh, D is dictionary, basically which help out to
Base
modify
base of everything,
dictionary.
right?
Right.
Okay. Anything which start with F.
F is basically forms which we are designing on the service now
Okay.
related to discovery as well as ITOM or
Yes.
ITSM.
Okay, good, good. We will come back on this part as well again. Now I'll give you the I'll allow you to share the presentation. Okay, and let's go for the item journey. So just need to be update everybody who is watching this session live. So we'll take 20 minutes, approximately 20-25 minutes, to give Ajay to chance to show what he prepared for us. Let's learn something on this particular part. And if you have any question, please put in the chat window or just hold it by the time Ajay will complete his presentation on this particular part. Okay, and don't be get disheartened that oh my god, this presentation has these many slides. We're not going to cover everything. That's for sure. Okay, over to you, Ajay now.
Thank you. Let me share my screen.
Yes, please.
Let me
Because
know.
for
Yeah.
me, item is completely new area. So I am going to be asked the questions on the item part. Okay, before you start, Ajay, let me put in this manner. Uh, remove this. Okay. Let me come on this. Okay, what is the meaning of ITOM actually? You maybe you're sharing your this thing only. Just go to slides only. That's fine.
Yep.
What is ITOM? What stand for ITOM?
So ITOM stands for IT Operations Management, which
Okay.
help to automate our IT operations, which is used by an organization.
Okay.
Basically, different organizations have different type of streams. Basically, ITSM is most related to service management, where we are going to be capture related to the services or incident problem change based on how that my service is going in my organizations. But ITOM is little bit different apart from how my operations is going to be an organization, like how my servers is connected to each other, how what is the business issues going in my operations, which is going to be which is going to be a big loss for my monetary side of my in my organizations basically. So
Okay.
we are going to be automate or try to find out how my operations working, basically different using the different tools in the service now.
Okay. One more point from my perspective is ITOM is pure sorry pure technical, or I also learn ITOM from the functional perspective as well.
Yeah, so definitely, in every stream which I feel, functional should be there, right? It's not a
Okay.
pure technical. You should know the data model, how, we should learn about how, what is the data model of the CMDB, what attribute required as a functional side, right? Apart from that, we need to be understand the requirement from the customer. Like same, we are getting the requirement from ITSM, the
Okay.
same type of requirements we can gather or capture from the customers. Apart from that, basically the designing of the forms, the conditions which we want to be put it.
Okay.
So each and everything which we want to be grabs or capture from as a requirement gathering from the customers, we can design a functional document. These are the requirements, or these are
Okay.
the things which we received, and based on that technical design document will be start to be prepared.
Okay. One more point, Ajay, on the same line. Okay.
Mhm.
When we say item, definitely you are saying that it's a functional as well. But what are the prerequisite to learn the item? Because you are going to present slides to us. Definitely, what are
Mhm.
the things? Maybe if we plan the second session with you on the next week as well. So what you want that at least me or the other users who are coming on the live session, they should able to learn or get these things words in their mind, and then we can proceed further on that particular point.
All right.
Minimum
So
minimum prerequisite I'm looking for.
The prerequisite is not there, but agenda is related to there. But yeah, let me cover that particular thing. So to
Okay.
learn ITOM, basically the prerequisite is simply to understand the ServiceNow platform, how ServiceNow platform is working, what capabilities is provided by the ServiceNow. So you should be a system certified, certified system administrator, as well as it will be good if you have knowledge about the infra, how Linux, Windows, or network devices is connecting to each other, how events is firing, how event system is working in an organization. So basic knowledge of those things should be required. Like let me give an example here to be best described. So you are using a Windows, or I am using a Windows server. So for use login to a Windows laptop, we require
Mhm.
credentials, right? And that
Correct.
Windows laptop is working on port 135. So basic informations, what is required to be logged in that system, and on which port or in which protocol that system works. Like Linux is working on SSS 22, right? The same way, on which protocol that is working, we should learn. We need to be, the basic concept of the infra should be clear. Again, in
Okay.
that, if I'm going about, because ITOM is a little bit vast as compared to ITSM or other modules. There are a couple of modules clubbed together, and each modules is dependent to each other to be give the more visibility related to your operations management, right? So if I come to event management, then you should know how event is configured, how event is created, how event is triggered to different monitoring source to the service now. So basic knowledge of events. Then we have architecture diagrams we can create using the service maps in the service now, or using the ITOM module. So that is all about ITOM. So basic knowledge of infra is must required. You must be certified as a system administrator. Platform things you should know.
Okay.
Apart from that, basic knowledge of the CMDB should be, you have understanding about it.
Okay. For the CMDB, I can still agree that we can go to the now learning and we can do the courses. But regarding the infra you say, is any website you recommend that Atul, if you go to that, you will get a little bit more? Because for me, like you say SSH, I have no idea. You say port number 13542, I have no idea. So where I can go and read about all
So
this information?
Right. So, I don't have handy as of now related to any documentation or any website for that learning about infra. But if you want to start with ITOM only, related to, like, you want to learn about discovery, what is the prerequisite for the discovery, how
Right.
it should be. So that all things is available on the ServiceNow documentation, as well as
Okay.
couple of articles is also available on ServiceNow community. I've also put it some couple of articles related to the CMDB or the
Okay.
discovery and ServiceNow community as well.
Okay, Ajay. So let's start with the presentation now. Okay. So
Sure.
over to you, and let's after that I'll put my questions again. And from the audience, if you have any question, please feel free to put in the chat window. I'll pick up it after the presentation will be over. Over to you,
Sure,
Ajay.
Atul. Thank you. So, guys, the agenda of that particular meeting, as already Atul mentioned, we are going to be discuss little bit ITOM, how ITOM works, what is ITOM basically, and what ITOM products are there, right, available in the market, which we can utilize to operate or optionalize our or automate our operation management in our organization, right? So, first point is agenda is ITOM products. We are going to be discuss about what products we have it or what bundles can be offered by the service now, so which we can use for the different types of or based on our requirements. Then we'll discuss about that intra discovery and its values, what is the discovery, how it works, and how it's going to be use or going to be help out in our organization. The next thing we will discuss about how overview of how discovery works and how it interacts with the rest of the system. So basically, we will discuss on a little bit high in deeper side how discovery connecting to the mid server or mid server connecting to the our ServiceNow systems, how the data will be collecting, what type of data will be collecting, and how it's populating, right? And then facts it basically just couple of URLs is there which we can use to learn about the item. Let's move to the first slide. So that item product and bundles, right? So item product have three bundles basically: item visibility, item health, or item optimization. This is just like a subscriptions which we are purchasing from the service now. So let me give an example. I just want to be capture one of all my infrastructure in our environment or our network. We are only going to be purchase the item visibility. I don't want to be connect with that monitoring systems or automate my incident creations for that. So that is not required for me now, and I know I also not going to be use the cloud systems or cloud provisioning and governance. So I'm also not going to be purchase item optimization. So in that case, item visibility is the best subscriptions which you can purchase, in which discovery, service mapping, service graph connector, and cloud operation workspace comes in the picture. What is discovery again? We will talk in the next slides. Service mapping, let me give you the a little bit background about it. What is service mapping? Service mapping is something which we can create architecture of your application service or the business service, right? So if let me give an example. We have a let's take an example of Airtel Payments Bank. So we have Airtel Payments Bank, which is operated by Airtel. So Airtel is going to be check each and everything, how many servers connected to that, what is the data, what type of database connected to that, what type of application or web servers or load balancer is connected to that. If any web server due to any XYZ reasons is going to be down, that is completely impacted their Airtel Payments Banks. And if Airtel Payments went down, definitely it's a loss for the Airtel for the money side, right? So to track that, the inventory, to track based on the service level how my service is running, we are going to build that architecture in the service mapping using the automations of the discovery and service mapping.
Ajay,
Service,
Ajay, sorry,
yeah.
just one thing. One of your
Mhm.
friends say that could you please go little slow because you're
How?
and Sandy, I'm agree on this part.
Mhm.
Specifically, as an Indian, if we know a lot of things, we start to go very fast on that particular part. Okay, so let's go little slow, Ajay. It's not like we have to
Sure.
complete everything today only. We can plan second session on the next week as well. But let's go as very slow on this particular part.
Definitely, Atul. Sure.
Okay.
So let me move out again for the service mapping. So service mapping is something where we can create a architecture diagram using the ServiceNow and Discovery. What is the use of the architecture diagram? We can create the architecture diagram in PPT, but in the PPT we are going to be create a holistic things only. We cannot operate, or we cannot, use what type of servers is connected, is the servers is running or not. So we can connect to the event management to see that's impact on that particular service, on that particular CI. So that's why we use service. So it will give a holistic view of my application services, business services, to see and see the impact. Where is the impact? If the service is running, everything shows showing to be green to me. So we can easily identify that service is running, there is no impact. If any server, let's take an example, if we have a one server due that is down due to xyz regions, or that hard disk is completely full of that server, so my slowness should be there. If slowness is there, my application should not be worked in the all regions in India, right? So to debug, to find out what is the issue, where is the issue, or to find out the root cause, we are going to be implement service mapping. The next is service graph connector. In the service graph connector, ServiceNow provided some of the out of the box graph connectors, or we can say connectors basically, in which we can directly integrate with on those graph connectors to pull the data to ServiceNow. So a couple of examples already here, like SCCM we have. So if we can connect with the SCCM, we can pull the data related to laptop, desktop, that particular system, and populate in the ServiceNow particular classes. So this is completely straightforward, where we can create credentials at the customer side. We can use the credentials at in service graph connector, and based on that we can go further to configure what type of data we required, what type of attribute we required, or identifications we rule we can configure.
So it
Yeah,
means the graph connector is one of the mediator which get the data from the assets or the infrastructure, right?
exactly, right.
Okay. So do we write any command for this one, or how it's proceeds, or you have this thing in the coming slides as well?
No, so we don't require any commands. This is out of the box, completely
Okay.
configured. Each and everything is, set up in that particular graph connector. But yeah, there are some APIs going to be used to collect the data. Let's take an example, Intune. So Intune, we have a graph API we are going to be used. If we want to modify that graph API to collect more information from Intune, which Intune is passing as of now as a out of the box solutions, we can definitely modify that graph APIs. The same way in SCCM, we are going to be use MySQL or SQL APIs, or this commands basically. So if we feel the customer is asking for that particular type of attribute which is not coming from the service graph connector, so definitely we can ask customer, or we can modify based on the requirement that particular SQL commands to be get that particular attribute, and we can load in our staging tables, and then we can pass to that target tables in the CMDB. So
Okay.
how this is how service graph connector works basically.
Okay.
Next is cloud operation workspace. Cloud operation workspace is just to see that how my cloud operations working, right? So there are two type of things, right? So cloud discovery is one of the things where we are going to be discover our Azure resources, or AWS resources, or the GCP resources, right? So that comes with ITOM visibility. But if we want to do more on that related to provisioning of clouds resources, or the governance of the cloud resources, and if we want to see the complete visibility of the cloud resources, how big, if I don't want to go to Azure portal to see the all things, I just want to see in ServiceNow. So ITOM optimization is one of that module or subscriptions we need to be purchased to be get more visibility on cloud side. So let me move to the next ITOM health. So ITOM health, a couple of other modules like event management, agent client collector, health log analytics, and service operations workspace for ITOM. What is event management? So let me give you a brief idea. Event management is something where we are monitoring a particular device after configuring some conditions or threshold on that particular device. So let me give an example. Let we have a Windows server. We are trying to monitor the Windows server hard RAM, or RAM utilization, or the CPU utilizations. And we know if CPU utilization is going to be more than 80% on that particular device, that is going to be little slow, because as we are using our laptop as well, right? So if my laptop chip utilization going to be 90%, my laptop might be crashed, or it will not be working properly, it's going to be hanged. The same way servers we are going to be monitor, if it is going in that beyond that, so an event will be triggered by that particular monitoring tool. I'm again mentioning here, ServiceNow not is a monitoring tool. it just only capture the informations which is put it, or which is connected through a monitoring tool to ServiceNow. So Ascom is there, SolarWinds is there, Jabix is there, Dynatrace is there. There are a couple of monitoring tools available in the market which we are monitoring, or which we are going to be used monitor different type of assets or CIs basically.
Okay. Ajay, just one question. You are saying for event, but I hear there's a term called alert as well. So how these two are related? Like alert generate first or event generate first?
Let me come to on that point as well. So as I mentioned, there are a couple of for event as well, couple of out of the box connector available, or we can use the SNMP protocol to get the event, or the REST APIs, and push or pull connectors, right? So let me give an example. Let's say we have a SCOM which is monitoring our Windows servers infra related things. I'm specifically mentioning infra, means it is monitoring my CPUs, it is monitoring my a hard disk or RAM, or related to that infra component which is working on that particular. It's not monitoring my applications things. It's not monitoring my database if it is running on that Windows servers. That is different tools which can be utilized, right? So if ASCOM is monitoring, so how ASCOM is monitoring? ASCOM is monitoring based on the thresholds which we configured. Let's take an example on if the CPU utilization goes more than 70%, one warning event will be triggered. That is an event basically. Now, if more than 80% going to be triggered, that again one event will be triggered. I'm coming to
Right.
that point, Atul. I'm coming to
Right.
that point. Yeah. So once that event is triggered, we can connect that source monitoring tool to ServiceNow using the graph connectors. So event will come to our ServiceNow event table. Now we need to be analyze the data. Is that event is actual an event, or it's a useful event? Then we are going to be convert an alert after writing some event rule on it. Right.
Okay.
So we need to be, because event can be triggered multiple times for the same
Yes.
scenario, and then we have to be find out the actual alert on it based on the event rule which we have configured, or based on the message key which help to refine, or which help to find out the correct alert, and that particular alert can be converted to an incident later.
Okay. Okay.
So so this is the basic basically, but if we going to be deep dive, I think in the next sessions we are going to be covered on those things, how the events can be converted, what conditions we have to be put, and then how it's going to be converted to an alert, right?
Okay.
So again, agent client collector is something is which we can install on a on a Windows server, on a Linux servers, to collect the data and forwarding to service. Now again, this is help out to monitor the systems. If customer don't have any out of the box or any third party monitoring system, so we can use agent client collector as well. Health log analytics, again, using the monitoring systems or third party monitoring tools, we can collect the health logs from the systems and push to ServiceNow to analyze or to predict basically if that type of event is coming for that particular time, or the health logs coming to that particular time. What will be the situation of my system, what will be the situation of my service, how that is working, how that is connected. So we are going to be judged, or we are going to be understand if any, we find out based on machine learning and the predictive intelligence works here from the ServiceNow side. It analyze the data, and based on that it try to find out a anomaly alert. Anomaly alert is just something which we can say ki, this is just a this is something which is crossed the limit, right, based on the data. So let's take an example. From 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. we are getting a event or health logs from that particular system, but 7 a.m. that is going for 10%, but 10 a.m. it's going for 70%. That is the health logs for the per day. But some day we found in 7 a.m. we are getting 5%, and after 9 p.m. it's we are getting 90%. So the health logs check every day we are getting 10 to 70% from 7 to 10 p.m., but today
Right.
we received from 5 to 90%. So something is changed. So ServiceNow detect that one using the machine learning. It will create an anomaly alert, and based on that, we can identify. If something is happening in that particular time, we need to be resolve it. Might be that particular time the load of the jobs is very high, due to that server is pushing more health log to the ServiceNow system. So we can work on that side to be figure out or fix it before
Okay.
an issue can be occur. So it just we can call proactive monitoring basically.
Okay.
Next is a service operations workspace for ITOM. This is again a workspace operations where we can configure our services, where we can configure our discovery related data, and a workspace we can easily find out the things there.
Okay. But
So
means something where we can see all the graphical presentations in a place, right?
definitely not the graphical representations, but it's a workplace basically. If we want to find out related anything related to ITOM or discovery service mapping and event management, we can find out in a single place.
Okay.
After that, we have to be click on that and we can go to the graphical representations of it.
Okay, Ajay. Got it.
Next is item optimizations. As I earlier mentioned, crowd provisioning and governance. This is something where we have to be automate or complete automate our cloud in discovery as well as provisioning through ServiceNow only. So as of now, customer what they are doing, they have Azure portal, AWS portal, or GCP portals. From there, they are provisioning a Azure resource, cloud resource, or sorry, AWS resource. But if we don't want to go that portal, we can completely automate, create a cloud and cloud provisioning and governance from ServiceNow portal itself. But we need to be purchase the item optimization again. If we want more information about billing side, how what type of resources is using, what type of resources
Mhm.
are working, what is the billing of it, we can also see that informations on ServiceNow itself. We should not go for Azure or AWS portal to capture those informations, because what is the use of it? We are giving a single source of truth to capture each and everything related to their IT operation management in ServiceNow.
Okay. Got it, Ajay.
So let me move to the next slide. I hope you are reverting to the answers if anyone have anything.
Yes. So we
Yeah,
have few
sure.
questions. We have few questions as well, but we'll take little later once you complete
Sure.
your presentation. Okay.
Sure, definitely. Sounds good. Let me go to the next slide. So this is all about the item visibility, how item visibility is connected and how item visibility is works. Basically, item visibility, I'm talking about discovery. So if you see, this is my service now in the middle, right? So this is my CMDB service now. It's going to be connected through mid servers. So mid servers can connect it to that particular data centers, endpoints, cloud, firewalls, tags, and all, and it will capture the informations and pushing to the CMDB. The same way service graph connectors, we have different type of service graph connectors like OT, IoT, monitoring, APM, observability, securities, and endpoints. These are the service graph connector. As I give an example of Intune, I've given example of SCCM. There are lots of graph connectors available in the market, which we can collect the data and push to ServiceNow CMDB. Now, this ServiceNow CMDB is vast, right? So we have lots of table available here based on the each server class. As I mentioned, I'm mostly using Windows and server, so there are two Windows and server class. But that is working, parent then child then child then child, right? So lots of class available related to this, based on the server class or device type. So the data is going to be stored in that particular classes only, or on that particular tables only. It is not going to be stored in the different tables. If it is going to be stored in the different table, let me give an example here. We have CMDB CI is the topmost table, in which we have hardware table, in which we have computer table. So if a computer table record, it's we are going to be stored in directly in hardware table, that is no use of it, because we cannot track a computer, means computer is laptop or desktop example. So if we are going to be stored in hardware, it can be in hardware, but it should not be stored there. Otherwise, we cannot find out, or we cannot identify how much percentage our CMDB is healthy. So we have couple of KPIs available, or couple of KPIs asked by the customer multiple times, where we are capturing the CMDB health based on their required attribute, like duplicate CI is not there, orphans not there, stillness should be not there, or the required attribute on the CMDB based on the requirement which we are capturing from the customer. Like customer mentioned we require that particular point, 10 attribute that should be mandatory or that should be populated through discovery or manual. So we based on that we can capture that particular 10 attribute are capturing. If not, then CMDB is not healthy. Sometimes customer is asking for locations assigned to owned by, so might be couple of information is not captured by the discovery because these are the logical informations and this is the foundation data. Based on the foundation data we can populate it, right? So but customer asked to be populate to be make it CMDB healthy, so we can again we have to be worked on the customer how we can populate. If customer is storing somewhere we can pull and we can populate. If customer is not storing somewhere we have to be manually update it and we have to be run the jobs or some other things to be full fledged giving the CMDB information. This is your complete CMDB and this is healthy as of now. Again, I have mentioned, yeah,
No, no, no. I'm good to go. But just to be add on this part, because ServiceNow also say that in the CMDB we have to follow three C's as well: compliance,
right.
completeness, and the correctness as well.
Definitely right. So I'm talking about that one. Thank you,
Okay.
Atul. So as you see in that green one, so visibility of hardware and software across operational states. Operational states basically that particular hardware and software is in operational status or not. On the CI we are capturing the operational status. On the asset sides we are capturing that whom to that particular CI is assigned and what is the status of it. It is in use or not, right? So we have in CI side operational and non-operationals we can capture, and apart from that substatus is retired or in use or some other things is there, right? Then again, it helped me to ensure the governance of the traceability of the CI and CD processes, increase efficiency and reduce risk when planning changes. So it can help me to identify uh, uh, the reduce the risk basically if something if planning is changing, right? Planning is changing basically if a server is down due to XYZ regions and we are going to be build a new server on that one, right? So it helped me to identify where is that one, where is that, what is the status of that server, it is down exactly or it is not in use, it's not kept. If it is not captured by a discovery a long time ago, right, from the long time, so we can easily identify that particular things, right? Again, it will help me to eliminate outage due to expired certificate and misconfigured policies. So when I'm talking about discovery, we can discover the certificates as well, which is running on the different websites or different applications. So we can easily identify it. If anyone is going to be expired, we can immediately going to be expand it or renew it that certification. So my website and other things were not going to be hampered. Again, prioritize response based on the business impact. It helped me to identify based on the business impact to be resolved that issue on priority as a P1 or P2, right? Align spend business to business initiatives. Anyone wants to be initiate some more things related to CMDB to clean, so they can align their spends basically on it. Like if we have already a service mapping and discovery, and if he wants to be more visibility on their infra side, how infra is working, right? So they can purchase the event management subscriptions and they can get more value from it, right? So these are the couple of examples or things which can be provided by CMDB. Let me move to the next slide. So let's talk about what is discovery. So in simple words, if I say discovery is something to research or something needs to be find out. Now I hope you everyone looking for the discovery channel where couple of spices or couple of animals can be discovered by a couple of resources or couple of pupils, right? The same way discoveries here is used in ServiceNow to find out whatever available on the customer network. Simple in simple words, right? So discovery finds application and device on your network and update the CMDB with the information it finds. So it try to find out the information on your network what is connected, and it's going to be pushed on the CMDB utilizing a specific step or phases process discovery. Use agentless discovery to find. So again, to when we are going to be implement discovery, nothing is required. The simple we have to be enable the discovery plugin. and we no need to be install any agent on the servers which we want to discover. This is IP based discovery, where we need to be open some profile protocols to collect the data, and simple, it can find the data based on the network, and it can populate to the ServiceNow CMDB. And while discovery is running, it try to populate it's populating basically software installations, running processes, connecting supporting CIs, and keep your CMDB up to date. So let me give an example on it, right? So if Windows Server have their attributes, like what type, what how many MB or GBs RAM is available on that server, how many big size of disk it is, what type of operating system running on it, what is the version of it, and what is the host name, what is the IP. These type of basic attribute is capturing by the discovery. But apart from that, discovery capturing how many software install in it, what is the version of it when that particular software is install on it, how many IPs connected to that device, how many running processes on that particular server, how many RAM modules on it. If they have two RAM modules, so it can detect two RAM modules, each of 8 GB. That kind of information is shared. How many data or disk is connected to that. So if it is four disk is connected, 400 GBs, it can also capture that one. And IPs informations, MAC addresses, and there are a couple of other things will be captured, as well as if an application running on that particular server or a database running on that particular server, that will also create a relationship with this particular database and applications and create a record in relationship basically. So it will give me a horizontally complete picture of my that particular CI that is running on it, that particular device connected to those particular things, right? So this is all about the discovery, and there are a couple of phase of the discovery, right? So as if you see in my screen sharing and the image, scan phase is first of all just to scan your IT environment, the devices which is connected to the network. If any device which is not connected to the network, that cannot be scanned by the service now. So here we are going to be scan it. Let's take an example. We received a IP range xyz dot slash 24. So in slash 24, the 256 IPs are there. Basically 254 IPs in use, two are reserved. So 254 IPs. So if all to in those 254 IPs, if only 200 connected to the networks, we can scan it in single go, and we can easily identify it. Next is classification. Now, ServiceNow is going to be classify, or Discovery is going to be classify what type of device it is. Means it is a Windows server, it is a Linux server, or it is a storage, or it is a virtual machine, or it is a network type of devices. So how it's going to be classified? Based on the port open on that machine, as well as based on the credentials configured on that particular device to be identified. So I will come to that particular prerequisite which is required to be for the discovery. But these are the basically phases of the discovery. Again, next phase is identify, where we are going to be identify is this device is already available in the CMDB. If yes, then let's go to update existing record. If no, then let's go to create a new record in the CMDB. How the identification will work? Based on your identification and reconciliation engine rules. If that are configured in proper way, automatically based on that host name or based on the serial number, device will be detected, and then it's going to be create or update in the CMDB. The last phase of the discovery is explore. As I mentioned, in explore phase, that is creating the relationships, that is finding the running process on the device, that is try to find out what software install on it. So more information on that device is going to be captured in exploration phase. So these all four phases of the discovery, which mostly use in the discovery side if we are going to be try to find out on the troubleshooting.
Okay. So Ajay, if I need to be summarize this as per my understanding. So scanning says that which address you want to be go. Classify say
Yep.
that which home it is. Mainly it can be like a window or the Unix. Identify
Hmm.
say that what identify say actually, because if we are able to classify that okay, this is a Windows server, then what
Hmm.
identify do for us?
So identifier looks for identification and reconciliation rules. Let's take an example. So on a scan phase, you put one IP, one dot one
Mhm.
dot one dot one.
Okay.
It's classify as a Windows server based on the
Okay.
port open or the
Yes.
credential pass.
Okay.
Now it's classify as a Windows server, but it will not create a record in the CMDB till the time the I based on the rules, the IRE rules, we are not able to find out or this device is already available in the CMDB or not. So if 1.1.1 IP address, if I configured IRE on IP address, if they are trying to find out the CMDB,
Right.
then
Okay.
it will check it is already there. Then it's let's update the existing record. So whatever the information is newly configured or newly discovered, that can be updated. If we found that device is not available, then let's create a new record there. Simple.
Okay. So it means identify means that is this record in the CMDB or not? If not, then create it.
Yes,
Otherwise, update it.
update it. Right,
Okay.
exactly.
And explore says that go and explore more that what has been installed, what is doing, what processes are running on that particular part.
Definitely right.
Okay. Good. We'll take a break here and we'll pick up few questions which is already in the chat window. Let me say here. Okay, this has been done. API. Okay. Rajesh put a question. How can we discover Citrix instances because it is IP address keep changing? What your thought on that part?
So again, Citrix instances also can be discovered somehow. The Citrix is also running on the Windows server, right? So IP address is changing for the Citrix only, not for that particular Windows server where the Citrix is already installed on it.
Okay. And what are the major restrictions or the limitation of discovery between on-prem and the cloud instance?
On-prem and the cloud discovery is little bit different. There are no major restrictions basically. But if I can give an example, on-prem is something which is available in our network. So
Okay.
which we can directly connect through our mid servers and we can capture the information. It's the same way cloud discovery is something which is on cloud on AWS and Azure, but there is nothing major difference on it. We just the access and the permissions we have to be configured in the correct way. And in the cloud discovery, when we are creating the credentials, we have to be discover first of all the service accounts. On that particular service accounts, how many data centers are available on it, and then and under the data centers we can easily find out the Azure resources and the cloud resources basically. So there is no major difference, only the access and permissions things which we have to be configured in proper way to be gather those informations from the different sites.
Okay. And then Carlos put that he's studying the asset management, and I have a feeling that item and item are deeply connected. What your thoughts in that particular part? Is it correct
uh,
or wrong? Right? Maybe.
Definitely. So ITOM and ITAM are, shortly connected to each other, right? So if ITAM, we have it because ITOM is operation management and ITAM is asset management. Somewhere, if ITOM is not able to populate the correct informations through the discovery, then
Mhm.
we are not able to do that our correct asset management, right? So we are not able to identify how many assets we have hardware, how many assets belongs to the software. And
Okay.
if we want to run related to that cost things, depreciations values and complete life cycle of the hardware, sorry, assets management related to hardware and softwares, we cannot dig down on it if the values are not correct from the item side.
Okay. So it means item and item are actually deeply connected, but on the overview side, we say okay, it's a CMDB in the item, not we're not sorry in the item it says CMDB, but not the item. Okay.
Exactly.
Then the next question put by Jerry said, how do you collect information about assets in an organization before turning on discovery to avoid exceed unit subscriptions? Let me put in the chat in this as well. Maybe you can read and then you can let me know your thoughts on that. Is it something you are able to answer because it includes subscriptions kind of things? So if license is there, we will avoid this one. Or what are your thoughts in that part?
So, before now that is question related to assets, right? So, before turning off the discovery, we are not, discovery is mostly capturing the CI is basically not the asset, first of all. Second thing, asset can be pull out by different sources, whatever the third party sources used by an organization. But if you want to use a particular subscriptions, asset subscriptions out of the box coming with ITSM as well. But if you want to more deep dive related to asset side, you have to purchase definitely the item subscriptions, right? In the discovery side, assets, we are not counting subscriptions on that, based on assets. We are counting subscriptions based on the CIs, and whatever CIs we want to convert to an assets, we can, use some of the properties if we want to create asset on it, or if we don't want to create asset on it. This is something we can control it.
Okay. And I guess Sandy also replied to Jerry on that particular part as well. So, okay, Ajay, you just have a 10 more minutes. I'll say not 10, 7 minutes, and 3 minutes will take for the conclusion as well. Over to you again.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen again. I hope my screen is visible again.
It's just loading for me. Just 1 minute. Let me allow. No, I'm not able to see Ajay.
Okay, one moment.
Yep,
Yeah,
able to
I
see now. Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit discovery architecture, how discovery architectures works, right? So someone asked related to yeah, on-prem data centers, how we are going to be discover on-prem, how we are going to be discover the cloud data centers or cloud, basically that if CI is available on the cloud side. So if you are able to see on my screen, this is my ServiceNow instance, which is again located on cloud only on the SaaS or PaaS platform, right? Again, we have the customer. This is again, customer firewalls or customer infra, where we can place a mid server based on determining how many data centers they have it, how many locations they have it, or how many CIs they have it. Again, if we are going on dev or that, a test instance, we can understand how many mid servers we need to be put. But if we are talking about prod, so we need to be always put as many as mid servers based on analysis after of their data centers and locations, as well as the server should be in the mid server should be in the clusters. Now what is mid server? Mid server is simple a Java, applications which is running on our Windows servers to connect with ServiceNow and to connect with our on host or on prime data on prime devices, basically. So this is a middleware between our ServiceNow to customer environment. So customer environment or the device which is available in the customer environment is directly not connecting to the ServiceNow. That is going via mid servers, because due to security purpose, customer don't want to expose their applications or their devices directly to the ServiceNow, which is placed on cloud. So again, if you see that, color coding of it, of the arrows. So again, mid server can be connect to the firewall or network proxy, then firewall, and then going to be connect with ServiceNow. Sometimes it not mandatory, customer is not using Firefox or network proxy, then it's going to be connect with firewall of the customer, and then firewall will be connected to the ServiceNow. Here we need to be asked customer to open the port in which the firewall ports which is blocking to reach out our mid server to ServiceNow. So on mid servers, our ServiceNow instance URL should be worked first of all. Second, HTTPS port 443. So that mid servers to ServiceNow connecting on the port 443, because our ServiceNow instance running on HTTPS. The next is REST APIs. If we are going to be connect with on-prem data centers related to VMware, we can create we can use the REST APIs to be collect the data, or out of the box connector also available for VMware, where we can collect all related informations of virtual machines or data stores or virtual data stores or virtual networks, which is available in the VMware. VMware again a tool which help me to which provides basically virtualize the things. Next is SNMP. These are the protocols which on which device is running. So from mid servers, we need to be open the specific port Let me give an example. Network gear, or a network gear or network device were running on the SNMP port UDP 162. So mid servers to that firewall policy to be enabled, mid server to servers by OS, like Linux or Windows, Linux running on 22 SSH or Windows running on 135. So that port should be open. Printers again SNMP based UDP 162 we should be open. Storage running on the different port like 9443, 443, or 427 SLP. So that particular port should be open. For Sorry, my bad. I just wrongly mentioned the port 5988 or 5989 or 427 is required for the storage devices. Again, database running on the Windows devices that can be find out on Windows server, as well as we have to be enable the some permissions from mid servers, or on the credentials, basically the database which is running on the device can be discovered, right? So there are different type of ports, different ways to be discover those devices. Now I'm coming to the cloud part, right? If you see, we are connecting directly ServiceNow to cloud just using the internal firewall, as well as we cannot use the internal firewall. We can directly connect to the ServiceNow, the AWS cloud, without using the mid servers. But customer mostly, what they they are going to be place a mid server in their cloud platform, whatever on AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, they are going to be place a mid servers. So we can easily reach out to mid servers, and again the mid server connect to that cloud network to discover the data and push it to ServiceNow back in their CMDBs. So as I mentioned, secure outbound only use 128 and 256 SSLs communications to specific ServiceNow applications, complying with strict corporate and regulatory standards. So this is for the security purpose, that data only communicate between two to 128 and 256 bits only. So this is all about the architecture.
Okay, I have two or three questions here, Ajay. Number one, is it actually required to have a mid server in the middle, or we can bypass as well?
No, we cannot bypass it. This is mandatory. That should be required. We can bypass, but customer is not going to be allowed, because customer network is secured network. So
Right.
customer never wants to be connect. That direct means customer never wants to be connect that all device directly reach out to the service now, which is placed on the cloud.
So
Right.
so
So
we can say that for the security purpose as well, we have a mid server in the middle, so that
right.
unnecessary unauthenticated user should not go in my network.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Second part, when you say that we have a different ports to be open, what do you mean by the word open here? Like we are going to be put something, or it's, and how you remember all the standard ports as well? That five five
Right.
nine eight one
So
four three. What this mean
So
actually?
that is on my fingertips, but let me
Okay.
explain it. When I'm talking about open, so open is something. Let me give an example. Now, I just want to access the Atul home, but
Right.
Atul is already put a lock in their room or in their home,
Okay.
so I cannot enter directly. Right, to
Yes.
enter Atul home, I need a key to open
Right.
it, and then I can and only enter it. The same way, customer wants to customer have firewalls there in their network,
True.
and we cannot reach directly to their infrastructure without connecting to that firewalls, right?
Right.
So the mid server again placed on their customer network, but
Right.
customer have different zones like DMG zone or the prod zone or the test
Okay.
zone or somewhere, right? So
Okay.
let's take an example. We have a prod zone, but we that prod zone wants to connect to the mid server. The firewall which is coming under in between of mid server to the prod zone, the firewall policy should be open on that specific port based on the device, and that should be opened by network device or network team only.
Okay, so it means that from mid server, if I'm going to the actual devices, there must be a key, and that key is a port. So that
Exactly.
so when you say that 5598 should be there, so it is a standard port which is open, and then we configure that port in the service now.
Exactly. So port, we no need to be
Okay.
configure ports, but yeah, that is the standard port. And
Okay.
already in service now, under the discovery port prop module there, where already standard port is configured. So somehow I also see that particular behavior. some of the Windows, some of the Linux servers running on the port 25, they are not using out of the box port 22. Right
Okay.
now, if they are not using out of the box port 22, we cannot discover it, right? So we need to be configure port 25 in the port and props under the discovery modules to that specific customer. So if we are triggering any discovery, that automatically pick that port 25 open for that particular service for that particular customer, and it automatically triggered my discovery pattern for the Linux to detect or discover that device in ServiceNow.
Okay, okay. So we prefer to go as per the out of the box ports only. If it is not, then we have to be think about the different ways to that point. Okay.
Exactly, right.
And I guess Gangadhar also put that also credentials are required definitely to go in that part. Okay.
Definitely.
Carlos put a question: can a mid server be a virtual machine?
Definitely, it 90% in organizations they are only using virtual machines because due to the cost cutting things, right? So if you ask for a physical machines, that will be little bit costly as compared to giving a virtual machine on any host.
Okay.
So
So what are the plus and minus for this one if we keep it as a virtual?
I don't feel any plus and minus in keeping virtual or physical machines. As you know, all the organizations are using cloud, right? And they
Right.
are using VMware. So they 99% giving on that physical on virtual machines only. If again, it dependent on the cost, right? So because whatever the configuration we required, that is also available on that physical as well as virtual, right? So why we want to be customer to give a big cost to be purchase if physical machines to be installed in mid application, and that is simple. I can say 200 MB application running on that server. So, but
Okay.
only as per the ServiceNow documentations, we are asking to customer 8 GB RAM, 100 GB hard disk, or whatever the latest Windows server,
Configurations, right?
Windows OS patch, right? So that we are asking basically to be installed in mid application on that server.
Okay. Okay, Ajay. Good. I guess we are just on time now. Any last question from anybody? Before that, then I will close this session here only. And just to be update, we are coming back again on the next Saturday on the same time, and we'll continue with the item session with Ajay on the next weekend as well. So I'm going to be share the invites, or I can say the share the link on the LinkedIn, and you can get in my channel as well. Okay, so Ajay, I think there's no last question. So let's go as per that addition. Let's take 10-second pause. Thanks to God that what knowledge, what words, thoughts we want to be share. Hope we are able to share in the same manner. And people or our community, our users, our audience, our friends, colleagues who are watching this session as of now, they get the same thing which we want to be communicate to them. Okay, let's take 10-second pause and then we'll formally close the session. Okay, good. So thank you so much, Ajay, once again to giving me time, sharing the knowledge with the community here. We will come back again, everybody, on the next week again on the same time, Saturday. It's on 23rd, right? Yes, 23rd of March, we are coming back again with the same thing. Just to be update one more point, we are in the process to create a WhatsApp group for the ITOM committee only. In the next session, soon you will get that link and you can join that group as well. And then where you can share your thoughts, your challenges regarding the ITOM. A lot of people who are from the ITOM part will be there. Or if you want, I can share the link as well here. Ajay, can you give me the link, please? I'll put in the
Sure.
chat.
One moment only.
Yep. And I know there's a people who join from different regions of world. Specifically, I guess Carlos, you are somewhere in the midnight. Ashish is there. Jerry's early morning time is 7:30 or 8:30 as of now. So thank you so much for joining this session, guys. Let me put the group link in the chat so you can join this group. And here you are allowed to ask question related to your service now journey, sorry, your item specific. If you have any doubt question, you can put it here. Definitely not. Ajay, there's a lot of people will be there who are going to be answer the questions on that particular point. Okay. So once again, thank you so much, everybody. See you again on the next week. Saturday. Till the time, take care and bye bye. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.